Welcome to Cordkillers Reckoning. The world of entertainment is turned upside down. All the cords are dead. And now we're like, oh, crap. How do we get the shows? How do we watch what we want, where we want, whenever we want? I'm Tom Merritt. Where's the good stuff, Brian?
Oh my gosh, it's in tempting fate, Tom, because yet again, I'm going to try switching. Soon we'll have everything all figured out where Amos is just sitting back and taking it easy.
See, a lot of people are worried about automation, not Amos.
No, he's literally just sitting there like, oh, well, let's see how this goes. Let's see how long it takes.
Yeah, automation, call me when you're ready. Well, Brian, are you ready for the supply run?
Supply run.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, full disclosure, Tom. I was very glad that Past Brian set up a button for that.
Well done, Past Brian. Well, Past Tom and Brian talked about the big carriage dispute between Disney and YouTube TV. And we wondered, like, what is it they're arguing about? Is it just money or is it relationship with the audience? Well, now we know. Starting in 2026, YouTube will pull a DirecTV/Sling and start offering genre-based sub packages that are cheaper than the $83 a month everything package. That means you'll be able to choose just the news channels or the family channels or the entertainment channels or the one that YouTube gave us the most information about, the sports channels. YouTube says even if you choose two of these so-called skinny bundles, as some people called them, you won't pay as much as getting everything. It's not exactly a la carte, but it's closer. Now, we know there will be 10 of these genre packs to choose from. They have not told us what all 10 will be or what channels will be in them. But the one thing they did want to make sure we knew is in that sports pack, which is probably the one they expect to have the most people interested in, you will get ESPN Unlimited. So you'll get all the ESPN channels, plus you'll get the ESPN Unlimited web service as well. And that has to be what Disney and YouTube were fighting over, or at least a big part of it. YouTube TV also added 750,000 subscribers last quarter. And as we mentioned last week, they were one of the few to add subscribers to an a la carte cable television service. So, Brian, there we go. It was all about how much to price sub bundles. Can I sub bundle? And can I please make sure to include ESPN Unlimited?
This really is, and I'm glad you called it. The issue with Sling, for those who don't remember, and why would you remember that Sling basically became the cheat code to get cable, to get sports legitimate on an over-the-top streaming service. It was an end workaround, but we had seen, this is just another face of the same beast that we had seen years before when it comes to carriage disputes, because ESPN, a lot of places, they pay you, or they pay the cable company for the privilege of having their channel on there. ESPN was eating up like what, a third of your entire cable bill, whether you like sports or not. And
yeah,
so
there were some estimates that were high out there that made the rounds, but you were at least paying at least $5 of your monthly cable bill went for ESPN, and it was actually pretty standard for cable companies to charge to get it. But you're talking like 80 cents a channel, 70 cents a channel, not $5. That was crazy.
Well, and I guess what I'm trying to get to is, we got 10 sub bundles. You got the whole package and you got 10 sub bundles. And basically it's profitable to, if you really only want two of the bundles, then you're better off not getting the whole package. If I'm anywhere in sports, I know that there's an entire half of the population that doesn't care about my thing that is very, very profitable and that I'm going to be on the chopping block. So I understand why they would be nervous about it, because we've seen to be nervous again and again.
Yeah. You were paying $5 a subscriber for every subscriber. Back in the days when there were 100 million cable TV subscribers in the United States, right? So ESPN was raking it in. But now that only the people who want ESPN pay for it, it costs $30 a month if you want to get just ESPN Unlimited, not bundled in with anything. So the argument between ESPN and YouTube was, okay, we don't want to force ESPN on everyone. We want to have these 10 genre packs. 9 of them won't have ESPN. We aren't going to charge them $30 like you would if they came directly to you. What can we agree on that's somewhere in between? And the thing is, we don't know what they agreed on because we don't know how much these genre packs are going to end up being.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, W. Scottus One just now in the chat was saying, I'll be curious to see what the packs are and what price they are. So will we. But I guess from the outside looking in, we can mainly just intuit. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it has to be more than $30 for the sports pack. Maybe the entertainment pack is cheaper, or maybe the history subgenre. I don't know how they're going to get 10 genre packs out of this. I'm very curious about that. But some of them are going to be cheap. But the one with ESPN has to be more than $30 because otherwise it wouldn't make any sense to go buy ESPN a la carte, because why do that when for $30 you could get ESPN and Fox Sports and all of these other sports channels that are going to be bundled in. Remember, this genre pack is a genre pack. So this thing's going to have to be more than 30, but it's also got to be less than 83. So is it going to be 40? Is it going to be 50? Like it's basically going to be the package that Warner and Fox and Disney were trying to put together and that Fubo stopped them from putting together.
Yeah, I think what we're tickling at is the answer is like they're going to divvy up sports so that it's 2 of these 10 categories so that you could buy just sports.
No, it's going to be one. There's going to be just one sports thing.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, no, that doesn't math.
The math is going to math very hard. Let's say they charge you $40 for this, which actually what's the bundle? How much is the Fox ESPN bundle? Because remember, you can get Fox One and ESPN bundled together. That's $40. This has got to be more than $40 then. So let's say it's 45, right? Just figure YouTube is striking special deals and it's 45. Well, now you are more than half the cost of just getting the everything package.
Yeah. So obviously, I think all parties want the get everything package to be the most attractive, but we do have sports is just one of those things where it's seasonal and everybody has some level of interest. Like even I, for all the jokes we make, my level of interest in sports is not non-zero or it's not zero. It is non-zero.
Yeah. Yeah. The bigger sports fans just want to have the sports. And there's a lot more people these days who say, I don't really care about seeing every hot new TV show. Netflix is enough, or maybe HBO Max is enough. But I do want to always watch whatever's on. When the NBA is in season, I want to watch that. When baseball's in season, I want to watch that. And the big NFL game is happening, I want to watch that. I want to watch college hoops. I want to watch college football. So this is going to get you that for cheaper than $83 a month. That's going to be a certain number of people. It's going to be a large number of people. I wonder how many people stop subscribing to the everything package because they're like, really, that's all I want. And how is it priced to make sure that YouTube is fine with that? Where they're like, yeah, we won't have to pay carriage fees for those channels that you no longer get, but we are still going to make money off you. So they have to be getting a discount on these channels from the providers, which is where our story started. How much of a discount did they want from Disney? How much of a discount did Disney agree to?
Yeah, I just realized that what I want to do is ask you, Tom, to speculate on what the 10 different genres will be. We already know that one will be sports. But then I realized that if I ask that, what I'm really doing is sending you to the spelling bee of how many cable channels can you remember from back in the day?
Yeah, how can you slice and dice this, right? Because they mentioned news, sports, family, kids, and entertainment. There's 5, okay? Maybe there's a movies one that's separate from entertainment. I don't know. There could be some foreign language ones. That would be an easy way to fill out 5. You got a Mandarin one, a Spanish one, a Korean one, a Japanese one, and a Vietnamese one. There, boom, 5. Because DirecTV has those kinds of packages as add-ons. So maybe they do those as individual bundles. Yeah, I don't know exactly how they slice and dice this. If it's not specialized language channel packages, it could be
G. James B says tech, sci-fi, horror.
Sci-fi horror. Maybe. I don't know if there's enough channels to fill that up. Horror could be Shudder, and there's a couple other specialized channels out there. We'd probably need to look at the YouTube TV channel lineup to figure it out.
I guess that would give us a good map to start with. Here, we'll do. I'll tell you what, while you're calling that up, I'll remind people that this program is made possible by the fine folks who are our patrons. That's right. Those people that go to patreon.com/Cordkillers and sign up to give us money. And if you want to write us, we're at cordkillers@gmail.com. I just realized I teed us up for a break segment when we aren't at a break yet. So now back to the segment.
Come back from that. Yeah.
I also don't normally have to cover for that.
Well, it wasn't going to take me that long. Women's. There's going to be a women's.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So you're going to have Pop and Oxygen and the, I don't know what else, Hallmark channel, maybe they would throw in that. Dove channel. You're definitely going to have like a learning thing, Discovery channels, all of that kind of thing. There's two. It's like an information channel or something like that.
Documentary history.
Yeah. I don't know what they call
news. Old news,
but
they'll call it.
World at War and the History Channel and True TV and, Travel Channel. You could probably pile all those in. Man, there's a lot of news channels.
What about a shopping genre pack? I can't imagine.
Ooh.
I don't know.
QVC is on here as one of their food. You could do a separate food package.
Oh, and HGTV. Makeovers.
I feel like HGTV goes in one of those lifestyle might be what you call it.
Yeah.
But you also have the Food Network and Recipe TV and a couple of others on here, and now I've lost them. But yeah, Nat Geo and maybe Science. Could you do that?
Science documentaries.
IFC has a Portlandia channel on YouTube TV.
Wow. They just play Portlandia nonstop.
Style. There's also a YouTube Originals channel.
I don't know who's still trying to make that a thing. I think it's adorable. It's like
anyway,
it's like they keep setting it up and they keep just kneecapping it. It's like, no, everybody come to Hollywood. Seriously, stay out of Hollywood.
Send us your best guess at these genres. Thought it was actually pretty clever for YouTube TV to drum this up right before the holidays without giving us any details on what the genre packs will be or the dollar amounts or anything. Just kind of a shot across the bow to all their competitors. And like Brian said, if you want us to be able to continue to afford to provide this information for you, patreon.com/Cordkillers. We'll wait.
Yeah, well, not right now. Okay, Tom, you seem very confident. We should probably finish the program. And I'll tell you what, you won't have to wait for the rest of our episodes because you get a special RSS feed where you instantly, all at once, other people have to wait 2 days to get the full experience where we watch the first, ultimate, lowest, and last episode of a series and give thoughts. Not you. You get it right up front. And you get exclusive access to our After Talk segment where we spill all the tea and where we do spoiler in times on stuff that we're watching now.
Yeah, that tea is all over the place. So you got to check it out. Patreon.com/Cordkillers. Let's get on with the search party.
Good job on the button, Brian.
Man, we actually have 3 big stories to talk about today. Here's the second of the 3. Netflix reached a deal with iHeartMedia to bring more than 15 video versions of podcasts to stream exclusively as video on Netflix worldwide starting in early 2026. The audio versions will continue to be distributed on podcast platforms. So if you're using Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can still get those there. But if you want to watch the video, you're going to have to go to Netflix. The deal includes The Breakfast Club, co-hosted by Charlemagne the God, Chelsea Handler's weekly podcast. There's a true crime podcast on there as well. This follows us talking previously about Netflix reaching a deal to stream some Spotify podcasts. So, Brian, Netflix reaching out and really saying, yeah, podcasts on a podcast app are podcasts. Podcasts that are video, those are just shows. We'll take those.
I think at one level, this sounds very, very silly because these are just poor shows, right? Like it really is just radio plus pictures. However, you got to remember
say these are talk shows. Like midday show kind of stuff.
Well, and so that brings me to the other lens. Remember that earlier this year, all the way back in March, we covered the fact that YouTube had crossed the 50% threshold, where more than 50% of all views were on big screen televisions, which means, to your point, Tom, that these are programs that people are inviting into their living room. Now, already a podcast is a voice that you know that's been whispering in your ear while you do the dishes, and so now you just flip a switch on your gigantic, increasingly large wall-sized 4K TV, and now it's just like you got another room in your apartment that happens to be filled with those voices that you like a lot. And so this feels strangely like Netflix finally acknowledging the YouTube in the room, finally acknowledging the video entertainment behemoth that goes unspoken in all of our discussions about acquiring Warner Brothers.
Yeah, there is a fertile ground there that Netflix thinks it can take a chunk out of. And I think it's doing it very wisely. Instead of trying to create a YouTube competitor, which so many people have tried and so many people have failed at, Netflix says, well, no, we're a very successful platform that people pay for. But if we can lock up some content you can't get on YouTube that people want, then they will watch us more. The weird thing is, YouTube makes more money the more times you watch a show on YouTube, because they do one of two things. They either run an ad or they pay the owner of the channel per minute. Netflix only makes more money if you watch more things, if you're on the ad-supported plan. What this tells me is that that plan is so successful and growing so well that Netflix is like, we need some stuff that'll feed minutes, that'll keep people watching to drive that up. And I wonder what this is going to mean for the price of the ad-free versions of Netflix.
This is brilliant, Tom, because it occurs to me, once you picture them growing ad-supported Netflix, technically it's just the degraded version of Netflix. It allows them to do something they could never cop to doing in public, which is we're actively competing with YouTube. It's like an end run. Like they will never, ever mention that their competition is YouTube, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because their competition isn't all of YouTube. They don't want to do every single thing that every person on YouTube does. I doubt Netflix is just going to open them up to chill hop streams of music.
Although I'll be there for it when they do.
Yeah, sure. If it made sense, it made sense. But what Netflix is identifying is this is the kind of stuff that people who use Netflix are likely to want to watch, and it will keep them watching longer. And it's incentivizing them to do that instead of just,
you know what?
We need to retain a subscription.
This also relieves the pressure because we covered previously that Netflix was allegedly saying, we need dumber content. We need people who are sad talking about how they're sad while sad music plays and they're frowning. And the reason, of course, is because they needed distracted viewing content. And if that's the niche that they're actively telling people, rather than degrade Netflix's reputation with all this kind of, half-assed content, this is a great way to upscale by reputationally upscale that existing market in a way that is non-threatening. Yeah.
I think under Sarandos and Peters, Netflix is really deciding that they are television, all of television, and YouTube is kind of already all of television. It's certainly all but the prestige parts of television. And so they are looking at, live sports. They're going to do an NFL game here next week. They are looking at live television. They have that deal with TF1 in France. They're looking at buying an entire freaking studio that makes live television and makes TV shows and has sports deals. So why wouldn't they want to encompass this part? And that's why I'm like, these for Netflix are like midday talk shows. They're wallpaper. I mean, we know that you listening to us right now are doing something else.
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
podcasts
And
are about.
if you're not, we want you to write us, cordkillers@gmail.com. Who sits there, closes their eyes, and does nothing but give us their full attention? I
Unless
shudder.
you're going to sleep, then I don't think you're doing that.
And if you're doing that, write us, cordkillers@gmail.com. How far do you make it? That, by the way, there is a place for this, and I don't think it's disrespectful, but it's like there's programs that I do find just more soothing to fall asleep to.
Yeah. I've actually taken to listening to audiobooks at night, which I never wanted to do because I'm like, what if I fall asleep? But I've discovered this magic moment where I am drifting off to sleep and I realize I haven't heard the last couple sentences, and I press pause and I take the earphones out and I drop right off to sleep without any disruption. And when I go back the next day, it's like maybe less than a minute that I can just rewind and I haven't missed anything.
So you don't
Speaking
even
of not missing anything.
I just wanted to go into sleep hygiene chat.
Well, I hope this movie doesn't put you to sleep. Supergirl coming to theaters June 26th. Did you watch the trailer?
Yes, it seemed fine. It seemed James Gunn's programming. I know it's not directly James Gunn, but of course he's at the helm of everything. It feels very James Gunny. Feels very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque. Damaged hero working its way through. She lived through 20 bazillion 9/11s all at once with her home planet, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure it'll be great, but I was a little bit shocked of, like, imagine your favorite soda, and on your 12th soda you think, oh, this is a lot of that soda. That's how I felt. Like I was surprised that I didn't feel much of anything.
Well, it could be the trailer effect, right?
It could be.
They're very this could be a safe edit of like, just show people what they're used to. We don't want to scare them off. We'll get to the trailer that appeals to Brian later. Don't worry about that.
I guess that's the thing, is I couldn't tell my role as the viewer. Like, am I supposed to be shocked that this is edgy from DC? Am I supposed to be surprised that she's damaged, or I don't know. I don't know who they were talking to.
I didn't read her as damaged.
Oh, I mean, are you kidding me? She's drunk and a dog's peeing on a newspaper, and she's stumbling around and getting into a fight.
So you want to save her, Brian? Is that it?
No. I think that a lot of that was already conveyed in the Superman movie. Maybe that's what it is. It's just for more general audiences. And I'm just like, you already told us this.
I read it as, we want Supergirl to look like what every person on the internet describes themselves as.
Yeah.
Like, so, we want to be like, man, I've had a tough time. I have been through it and I'm barely holding it together. And I'm going to have that glass of wine and not apologize before I go to bed at night because I'm an adult. And you, Mr. Superman, you have the luxury of being forgiving to people and seeing the good. I don't. And I feel like, oh my God, that's like 90% of what people say on the internet about themselves. And I think Supergirl is trying to appeal to that.
And I guess that maybe that's the thing, is I have to remember that if you're a Superman fan, then this is wildly like not since Superman 3 has something come out of left field like that within that framework.
Yeah, I guess. HBO Max released a trailer with highlights for shows coming in 2026. We usually get this at the end of the year. So we got bits and pieces of Euphoria Season 3, House of the Dragon Season 3, Lanterns, and a little bit of a Larry David sketch comedy series that is yet to have a title. Teaser also included new footage from Lisa Kudrow's The Comeback Season 3, which stars Lisa Kudrow, as Variety pointed out to me. Richard Gadd's Half Man, and a little bit of Dune Prophecy Season 2. which I haven't watched Dune Prophecy season 1, but I did like the movie, so I'll probably dive into it eventually.
Did you ever watch The Comeback? I've been told that it's phenomenal.
No, I have not.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't remember being told that. I shouldn't say I haven't been, but
I say I was told. I think I just heard Penn Jillette just breathlessly talk about it.
Okay.
And about how he didn't expect it to be nearly as good. And then I looked online and everybody says it's good. I think that's what it was. It was
all right.
Independent investigation revealed it's good.
Also, we were talking earlier about a channel that was it was all Portlandia. HBO Max has launched 2 linear streaming channels in its service. So they're not fast channels because you can pay for HBO Max to not have ads, but they are all Game of Thrones and Friends. If you're like, yeah, I like every episode of Friends, I don't care which one it is, just put it on and let them play one after the other. You can do that. Same thing with Game of Thrones.
Well, isn't that interesting? Because those 2 shows are so fundamentally different in terms of Game of Thrones is the walking definition of you have to watch them all in order, beginning, middle, and end. This doesn't make sense out of context unless you know whatever. Or maybe it does. But my point being, Friends, you really could hop around and you're like, I thought they were dating, but they're not. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a storyline, but it's not nearly as essential as the Game of Thrones one. Right?
Yeah, unfortunately, my bitter disappointment, Tom, is that I thought it was one channel with only those 2 shows on it, just kind of interspersed.
There you go, HBO Max free idea. Friday Night Lights is coming back to Texas at the 2026 ATX TV Festival right in your backyard, Brian. Like literally, I think they're holding it in your backyard. The cast is going to get back together to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Friday Night Lights. ATX TV Festival Season 15 takes place in Austin, Texas from May 28th through May 31st.
Man, I don't know if I want to go back to Friday Night Lights. I fell off at some point, but I do still owe you a life debt, Tom, for forcing me to give it a try. The first season was very, very good.
Every year we watch a silly holiday movie, usually on Netflix. And this year we watched Champagne Problems, which is about a woman with champagne problems going to France to buy a champagne vineyard. And the star was the same woman who played Lila in Friday Night Lights.
Oh, wow.
I was like, hey, look, she all grown up now.
Yeah. Yeah,
so fast.
It's like it's just like Stranger Things. Only she went on to a different show.
Yes, and a movie several years after the show ended, rather
playing
than
a different character. Season. You know, that's normally how it goes, Tom.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that. Brian Fuller says he's shopping a 3rd season of Pushing Daisies. The writer strike victim show that only had 2 seasons. The Mary Sue was told by Mr. Fuller, we have a season 3 pitch. The entire cast wants to come back. We're hoping we can get to return to them. We just have to find somebody who wants to make it. Yeah. That's Brian Fuller going on the Mary Sue going like, hey, bidders, who wants Pushing Daisies? I'm ready to talk. Call my agent.
Yeah, that was one that was very, very beloved.
Yeah, I really liked it myself. I don't know if it would hold up this far down.
Or
He's
what the
not
stakes were
going to
be.
pretend it's happening immediately after season 2, right? Unless he does Stranger Things, I guess.
I'll tell you what. I wonder if de-aging is the one crack in the anti-AI sentiment wall where it's like, what if you just could have it?
Why not just tell me how old you would like to be? There's also a trailer out for part 2 of Stranger Things. Next 3 episodes come out December 25th with the finale out New Year's Eve. I got to tell you, Brian, I'm excited. This last season is coming in strong. It is a really good story, and it kept us interested. And watching this, I was like, oh, right. Yeah, no, we got to find out what happens next. So very cool to see.
I did enjoy the crazed out 80s hair of what's her name? Lydia from Beetlejuice, looking like Rambo.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Amazon announced that Fallout Season 2 would debut at 6 p.m. Eastern Time Tuesday rather than on Wednesday, which means they very inconveniently put it out 20 minutes ago so that Brian and I were forced to not watch it when it came out.
Is that what just happened? I was trying to I was trying to make these numbers number with the days.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they put it out today, jerks.
Oh, congratulations.
And it's fine to put it out today. Just put it out after Cordkillers, have some respect. Finally, Disney developing a live action spin-off film of Beauty and the Beast about Gaston.
Oh, I love this. I love this because Gaston is I don't know. I don't know.
He's made up, right? So one of the problems with doing things like Beauty and the Beast is the story itself is not copyrightable because, your adaptation could be copyrightable, but the story is a folktale, but Gaston's not in the folktale. So the Disney is like, oh, he's all ours.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that that's the main motivation. He's a beloved character as well, but it certainly is a side effect of it.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's really the same archetype as Maui from Moana, right? Just whereas Maui tips to good guy, Gaston tips to bad guy. Mm-hmm. And so seeing the origin, now obviously, we can't see an origin of Maui, or I guess we could, but I'm much more interested in if we're going to follow the origin story of somebody, I want to see the one that tips into evil. Origin
story? I don't even know. Well, I guess it could be an origin story.
Or they do a Cobra Kai. You win either way. Either it's before he became a jerk, or it's after he became a jerk.
Or his reclamation. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the buried treasure.
Most people want to know why
the
they
French
suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
Oh, doggone it.
Boom, 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 boom. So I've got two buried treasures. One is in the dock and one is not because it's very surprising. But let's start with your buried treasure, Brian. This is a show or something you've been watching to let folks know about because they might be interested in watching it too.
I'll tell you what, not for nothing. It's been a very interesting, busy week, and we did a lot of shooting, so I didn't have a lot of time, and I wish I had something more interesting to bring you guys, but I just got a quintuple, septuple, octuple down. You know what? Octuple. That's how many episodes we're on Alien Earth. It is a very good show. Is all you could say.
I've got two, so I got you covered.
Good.
The first is Taxi Driver Season 3, Korean drama on Viki. You can get the first two seasons elsewhere, like Kokowa, and I think even Netflix in some regions. But Season 3 is only on Viki. And Season 2, they don't usually do seasons with Korean dramas. Season 2, you could tell it's the same characters. It's okay, but it's not as good. Season 3, they're killing it. Just really figured out this is how you do new stories with beloved characters. So if you liked Taxi Driver Season 1, I would say just skip to Season 3. You don't have to watch Season 2. And if you watched Seasons 1 and 2 and like them, you're definitely going to like Season 3. But the other thing I was going to mention, took me by surprise Sunday evening. Eileen was busy doing something, and I was just I just want to have something on TV just to, have it on, something I enjoy, a little waterfall television. And around this time of year, I often watch the Lord of the Rings movies. So I put on Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, and it's playing. I'm playing something on my phone, and then I realized that we're at the Galadriel scene, right? Where they all go to the forest. And that reminded me of the Amazon series, The Rings of Power.
The animated one.
What? No, not the animated one.
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean, got it. Yeah, the one they paid all the money for and nobody watched.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, apparently Season 2 was watched quite a bit. And that puzzled us when we saw those numbers. We're like, well, no one talks about it, but I guess a lot of people watched it. So I'm like, you know what? I want to see Galadriel back to back. I just saw Cate Blanchett do Galadriel. I'm going to go right to Season 2, Episode 1. And I am going to do a side-by-side comparison. I just want to dip back my toe and see. I'm sucked back in.
Really?
Season 2, much better than I remembered Season 1 being. Maybe I'm just less precious about it. Get it?
Oh.
But I find it to be an interesting take on Sauron. And I'm almost looking at it more like I would look at a Game of Thrones than I would look at a Lord of the Rings, which is like I'm watching the machinations of how Sauron is able to trick elves into helping him with his plan to come back, even though elves know that Sauron is evil and has a plan to defeat them. And I'm convinced. I'm watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, that might work. Oh, I guess that's interesting. Oh, we did a double. It's not bad. I'm not gonna lie. And I think I might keep watching it.
Is Sauron just a dude?
Yes. I don't know how much people care about being spoiled about Sauron.
Yeah. If you're sensitive about Sauron, before he was a giant eye on a tower, he was a man.
In season 1, you don't know who he is. So you're trying to guess like, oh, is that him or is that him? And then it's revealed at the end of season 1 who he is. And so you're like, well, in season 2, what are they going to do? Because now everybody knows it's Sauron. But he basically is like, okay, so Galadriel knows who I am, but information moves slowly in a medieval world. I bet I can outrun it and stop it. And say things that are true, but just leave out the important bit about me being evil and convince people to help me. And he appears to be a human, and he claims to have been a descendant of a king, sort of implying that he's the lost heir. And then when they find out he's not, if they don't know who he actually is, he's like, you know what? I'm actually not a human. I don't like to tell everyone this, but I'm a Valar from across the sea. And I'm like pretty powerful and I can help you, but please don't tell anyone else. Right.
I just need a short advance to unlock all my funds in my overseas account.
If you can help me make these rings, we'll save all of Middle Earth together. And he's, he basically is a Valar, not to get too far into the lore, just a really evil version of one. There's also a story that appears to be Gandalf, but that one we still don't know yet. It's like, oh, it could be Saruman. Don't know. We'll see how that one goes. But anyway, I was surprised that it sucked me back in. If you got something we should be on the lookout for, folks, you are going to want to write this down. The email is Cordkillers. There's 2 L's, Cordkillers@gmail.com. Do it right now. Send us an email about whatever you want, even if it's just like advice for your plants.
Yeah, oh my God. It's easy enough to throw out there, person who doesn't read the emails.
Maybe this will make Brian set up a forwarding rule. Maybe I'll regret that. Hey, Brian, what's going on in your world?
Hey, man, it is the last day to order anything from scamstuff.com. That's gear for the modern rogue. As you know, Christmas is our big holiday time, so we've been doing a bunch of last-minute bundles. One that everybody should look at is the world's best magic kit. It is, if you go to 110.scamstuff.com, this thing is $20 freaking $20. It's the very best magic kit on the planet. It has, and it sounds like I'm doing hyperbole, it has tricks that David Blaine did on national television. Only your kid can do it in about 30 minutes. It's got an unbelievably awesome utility prop that professional magicians use in their close-up all the time. The one special deck of cards is worth the $25 on its own. This thing's only $20, and it'll ship right away because they are in overdrive. It ships straight from the manufacturer to you guys, and just all you got to do is, and I offer, the reason it's 110.scamstuff.com is because I'm offering a 110% money back guarantee on this thing. It is amazing. 110.scamstuff.com. Get it as we're recording. It's the 16th. If you get it in the next 48 hours, it should be there in time for the big day.
So wait a minute. You're saying that it's not too late for me to order it right now?
No, it is not too late. If you go to 110, that's 110. See, I named it that way because of the 110% money back guarantee that I'm offering. And in fact, you don't even need to here, I'm going to turn this down. You don't even need to speculate. If you want to know everything that's in the kit, there's even a video of it right there. Just go to that site and click on the YouTube vid.
I don't need to pick like really expensive shipping. I could just pick standard shipping.
Actually, now we're in the weeds. I actually don't know. I know that it will fulfill in 48 hours from direct from the manufacturer.
Well, I'm looking at it and it says 4 to 9 business days and 16 plus 9 is 25. So that sounds pretty good to me. I am buying it right now.
Hells yeah. It's
Yeah,
great.
everybody. Go do it. Do it. Let's move on to Scan the Horizon.
Send a scanning crew aboard.
Scanning the horizon!
Okay, it is time for what will become a recurring segment. How's things going with that whole Netflix, Paramount, Warner love triangle? Netflix reportedly plans to add debt so that it can increase what it will offer Warner Brothers Studios for the studios and streaming division. They have not actually increased a bid yet because we're waiting for shareholders to respond to the Paramount bid. Meanwhile, Paramount says its financing is more airtight and promises it can close the deal faster as it continues to try to butter up shareholders. We also got the Warner board formally rejecting that Paramount offer, which is not so much a rejection as it is a step Paramount had to take before it can go directly to shareholders. I've seen some people in the financial press arguing whether this is truly a hostile takeover or not, but it is an appeal directly to shareholders. But they had to get the board to reject it too, so that they could then go to the shareholders and say, well, your board rejected this, but maybe you think it's a good deal, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where we are with the machinations. Meanwhile, Netflix co-CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos posted a note to the company blog that they also filed with the SEC because reasons. They said there is no business overlap between Netflix and Warner. That they do not plan to close any studios. That includes Netflix's own studio. They repeated assurances that they will keep the theatrical model. And they've said that before, and people go like, well, sure, there's going to be contracts they don't want to violate, but as soon as they can, they're going to start going straight to streaming. They wrote, we haven't prioritized theatrical in the past because that wasn't our business at Netflix. When this deal closes, we will be in that business. So that's the closest they've come to saying we'll respect the window. I gather from that they don't want to say we'll respect the window because they want the window to be shorter, but they are probably willing to do longer windows than they've ever wanted to do with Netflix stuff.
Also, the more they say now, the more they have to be held to later. So they are not in the business of saying any specific promises if they know what they're doing. And I suspect
but
they do.
Want to calm people down because people are like, Netflix is just going to ruin theaters. They're going to own all the Warner movies and they'll go straight to streaming and then they'll never go to theaters and the theaters will all close and it'll be the end of humanity. And Netflix is trying to say, actually, no, we don't want to end humanity, nor do we want to kill theaters. We actually own some theaters. So that's where they're going with that. The Apple TV app for Android now supports Google Cast. So you can cast from your Android phone an Apple TV show like Pluribus to your television. While casting, it shows a mini player with playback information, device, and timeline, along with player controls. You can tap on that to make it bigger. The iOS version of the app, however, does not support cast. If you're using an iPhone or an iPad, they expect you to use AirPlay.
Yeah.
The Attorney General of Texas is suing Sony, Samsung, LG, Hisense, and TCL for not properly obtaining user consent before collecting information using automated content recognition from TV viewers, which it then sells to third parties.
You know what? This is one confused libertarian in this moment. Because on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, cover my privacy. And then I'm like, by insisting that there be yet another screen, like that's what he's shouting at, is that there wasn't another screen Brian could mindlessly click through and hit agree to. So it's like I'm at war with myself right now.
Automated content recognition is looking at your screen and trying to say, Brian is watching Pluribus right now. We can now put a tick mark in the spreadsheet that says this TV's ID number watched Pluribus. So when someone comes and says, I want advertisements that go to people who watch a lot of magic shows on YouTube and Pluribus, they can go, here's your man, advertise to Brian. That's what that's about. What the Attorney General of Texas is saying is they didn't really, it's not that they didn't let you know they were using it. They didn't let you know all the implications of using it. It can capture anything on your screen and try to recognize it. And they're trying to say like that could include your login doorbell or photos that you are streaming of your kids. In reality, Samsung doesn't care about that. What they care about is any television show they can recognize so they can put it in their database.
Right.
YouTube's TV interface moved all the controls below the scrub bar and added a description button. And I'm so happy, Brian. I'm so happy.
Describe this to me. What's it like being hands-on
So
with
it used to be you'd have the scrub bar and you'd have some controls below and some above.
Mm-hmm.
And because I watch a lot of things in foreign languages, I always have to go above the bar and then click over and then turn on the captions because it never can remember to have the captions on. And going above the bar was always such a pain because sometimes it's like,
Two
I don't
whole
want to go above the
clicks.
bar. Oh, wait, did you want me to pause your video? And now it's just all right there below. And as soon as you go, you're like highlight, boom, boom, boom. So much better. Thank you, YouTube.
Did you notice that organically, or did you see the story and then give it a try?
No, it just happened one day that showed up before I saw the story. I saw the change and I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Disney Plus arrived on Meta's Quest headsets in the US. You can now add it to the Horizon TV hub. We mentioned, I think back in October that this was coming. It's now there. And speaking of Disney, OpenAI struck a deal with Disney to include some non-human IP. So like characters in masks or animated characters and not voices. So no actual humans likeness, no actual humans voice, but those non-human looking IPs like the look of Darth Vader or something like that can show up in OpenAI products like Sora. It appears YouTube has cracked down harder on generated Disney IP as a result because Disney also sent a cease and desist to Google saying you can't have your AI output our stuff and you need to stop. And then suddenly a bunch of stuff disappeared from YouTube. But OpenAI is going to be the provider of that Disney AI generation stuff that we were talking about earlier in the year.
Yeah, and on top of that, some of this content can end up showing up on Disney Plus. I like the rule. I say like. I think it is a canny move to make it non-speaking, non-human or masked characters. Which, on the one hand, you could kind of smell in a cynical way that's what they're doing with the Mandalorian, is making sure it's like it's almost as though the ad team was like, no, make sure he never takes off his helmet. That's I don't know, part of the code or something, because then we can put anybody in there.
Yeah.
And so now those are paying dividends in moments like this. But on the other hand, if what you want to do is craft a frictionless way that eventually a family can go to a theme park and see all the characters without apology because they're non-speaking masked characters, that makes sense. And this slots in congruently with everything else they're doing there.
Yeah, I assume what Disney hopes is that families will make videos with their kids playing with the Mandalorian, and the kids will be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It's like I'm in the show, right? So expect to see that, and we'll see what else we see. Let's hold on for the chatter. Got mail. We got a couple emails from Bill. First of all, he was writing in response to our full experience on Speed Racer that we did recently. He said, it always bothered me that Speed had a G on his shirt. Since you didn't bring it up in the full experience, I asked Perplexity. I could have sworn I brought it up, but maybe I brought it up in After Talk or something. Anyway, Bill says, in the original Japanese version of the series, the character known in English as Speed Racer is named Go Mifune, and the letter on his shirt is simply the initials of that name. The same naming choice also plays into wordplay in the original title, Mach Go Go Go, where Go connects to his name, the number 5 on his car, and the English word go. Thank you, Bill, for that. Bill also asks, since The Last Frontier is set in Alaska, he's curious if Amos had a take on it.
Yeah. Amos, do you have any hot takes on The Last Frontier straight from Alaska? He says no. No takes.
No, he has no takes. Well, maybe an after talk. We'll see. Danny Box said, Brian pointed out piracy is easy, but actually doing it, pulling the lever, might not be. Recently, my coworkers were discussing piracy. What struck me most was that they have rules, saying things like, I pirate television, but I'd never pirate books. They got really specific. One explained that they go in a loop, pirate 3 games, and then buy the 4th. I spent a year working front lines at an addiction recovery facility. In the room, these rules, the vibe, felt identical to how addicts describe their experiences, essentially admitting that something is having a negative effect, but you won't or can't stop doing it. This could be a sign of a shift in thinking that piracy isn't harmless and that it is wrong.
I don't know if it's a shift insofar as like I think everybody already thought. I remember back when I was an unrepentant pirate, my excuse was always, "Oh no, I'm gonna work in the industry. There's no difference between a free trial of a thing and if I worked at a company. I just don't happen to work at that company yet. And when I do, I'll be a legit user." And then I met Tom Merritt, and we started hosting a show, and I was independent. I wasn't working for somebody, and I was like, guess what, my guy? You got to be that someone. I had to be the change, Tom.
Yeah. You had to be the spare change that you didn't spend on the stuff you were pirating.
Yeah.
No, I think way more people than you think feel bad about stealing things, and they will work very hard to justify either why they are stealing it or that it is not stealing, but that is mental load that they have to go through. And I think that's probably what Danny was seeing. Danny also wrote in response to my summarization of their Plex email and said, it being accessible is more important to my point than calling it easy. And his, if you don't recall, was the email about the R software as an alternative. If anyone then pirates care about the R's, it's about the appearance of being widespread or being able to spread wide. So because the summary didn't get it right, I was going to read Danny's entire email from last week. Danny wrote, Plex offering cover for pirates by having legitimate offerings is pretty interesting take, especially when considering how far they can push it. I love tinkering with self-hosting alternatives to popular services, but that community has basically been overrun by the R suite of software. Yes, R as in what pirates say. Sonar for TV, radar for movies, LiDAR for music, and on for all types of media. It's all over and very well documented. Step-by-step guides on YouTube. It is not a new popcorn time in terms of simplicity, but the barrier to these incredibly powerful tools is very thin. Large-scale piracy available to anyone with the hard drive space, built with Plex specifically in mind, and Jellyfin, which seems to be the most popular alternative to Plex. Pirate's gonna pirate, right? Well, the R's have pretty bad optics. If you're trying to persuade people, ISPs or governments to worry about piracy, intimidation by marking Plex as a company seeming less trustworthy or greedy could be an angle. So there you go. That's Danny's full words. Sorry that the summary messed it up.
Yeah, we were a little bit under the gun, which is why we had to rely on that knuckleheaded intern.
Chad. Different Chad. Ralph from Jersey wrote a couple months ago, I emailed you about the Amazon Prime Video animated series, The Legend of Vox Machina. I wanted to follow up because the creators just released a new show called The Mighty Nine, N-E-I-N. It has a similar Dungeons and Dragons style theme, a group of misfit nobodies trying to save the world. The trailer even sums it up perfectly, saying they were chosen because they will never see you coming. One of the characters even jokes that they might survive this adventure because, in their words, let's do what we do best, make bad decisions. I do want to warn you that this show and the previous one is not for kids. Prime Video has recently been criticized by parents for not clearly warning that some of their cartoons are actually made for adults, not children.
Ah, that's interesting. That brings us back to the days of installing V-chips on televisions and doing TVMA and all that stuff.
I can't tell anymore when someone says they've come under a lot of criticism if they actually have or not. Like, I've just lost the ability to tell if that's a bunch of bots that have decided to go after somebody, a bunch of people who are just very loud but not numerous,
or a bunch of people with friends who may or may not exist.
Yeah. Ben writes, back when I cut the cord, I used the savings to buy an antenna, an HD home run, and a lifetime Plex pass. I don't watch backed up movies, I don't pirate, and I've never shared a password for it, but I do love Plex for its DVR features. And just like my beloved Replay TV did back in the day, Plex gives me a skip commercial button, or it will even completely remove commercials from the recording. This setup is great for keeping up with various sports without having to pay for streaming services.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I'm not current on Pluribus, writes Jason, so I don't listen to your discussion in the aftertalk to know if it came up. But in the episode when her house is being repaired, Carol mentions that one of them looks familiar and claims it's the mayor. It actually is the current mayor of Albuquerque, Tim Keller, playing the mayor of Albuquerque.
I love it. That's great. And it passes that most difficult of test. Whenever a character is odd and doesn't seem to fit, then I find out later that it was a cameo. I think Ed Sheeran was one of those in Game of Thrones. I'm like, that was a weird beat. And they're all like, that was Ed Sheeran. I was like, okay, all I know is it degraded the product so that you could say that sentence. Whereas this one, I watched it 3 times, didn't even notice.
Unlike all the other people who wrote you about Plex, writes James, I have zero interest in ever using Plex, and I would be happy if you never talked about it again. But I know the show is not just for me, so you do what you need to do.
Yeah, I wrote him back saying, yeah, not everyone on Cordkillers is interested in sports, but that's how news be like.
Yep. Well, that is it. Our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. We're live at twitch.tv/Night Attack and youtube.com/Modern Rogue, Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Oh, no.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.